What if you could lift away from everything you've ever known, not slowly, but with a quiet, weightless drift, rising past clouds, past atmosphere, past the thin blue glow that cradles our world? What if the darkness above you wasn't empty at all, but a vast ocean waiting to be crossed? Welcome back, traveler. Tonight, we drift through science, but also through imagination, following a path no human has ever physically taken. If you could fly through every galaxy, every swirl of starlight, every hidden corner of the cosmos, what would your eyes find there? Picture yourself floating just above Earth, where the air thins and the colors fade into a soft twilight. Below, continents dim into silhouettes. Above, endless darkness glows with distant fire. Your breath slows, your shoulders loosen. The quiet around you feels almost warm, like a blanket of night pressed gently against your skin. There is no wind here, no ground, no hurry, only the steady hum of existence stretching in all directions. And in this suspended silence, you begin to feel something subtle. The universe isn't still. It's moving around you, waiting to reveal itself. For as long as humans have looked upward, we've wondered what lies beyond our own star, beyond our own galaxy, beyond even the boundaries of what we can imagine. Tonight, we explore that question not through equations or telescopes alone, but by drifting through the cosmic landscape itself. Every galaxy holds a memory. Every cluster hides collisions older than Earth. And every faint shimmer you see is a story written in lighter, traveling millions or billions of years just to touch your eyes. To fly through all of this, even in imagination, is to see creation unfolding in slow motion. If these quiet cosmic journeys help your mind settle, your breathing slow, or your thoughts unwind, know that you're always welcome here. A gentle like or a soft tap on subscribe helps more curious wanderers find this peaceful corner of the night. But there's no pressure, just gratitude. Whether you return often or drift in only once, I'm honored you're here, sharing this quiet passage through the stars. So tonight, we'll lift off from home and fly outward, past the Milky Way, past our neighboring galaxies, past the great clusters and the cosmic web itself. We'll drift through spirals of blue stars, glowing nebulae, ancient red giants, and galaxies so faint they barely whisper their light. And with each step forward, we'll see the universe not as a distant spectacle, but as a place we're gently floating inside. When you're ready, traveler, let's begin with our first galaxy. The moment you rise beyond the last traces of earthly air, you begin to understand something quietly astonishing. Space isn't empty. It feels more like a vast, cool ocean, gentle and endless. Its currents made not of water but of light, dust, and time itself. As you drift farther from Earth, our planet softens into a glowing marble, blue, white, serene, spinning with a grace that feels almost fragile. The farther you float, the more the familiar dissolves, replaced by a spreading tapestry of stars stretching like a soft lantern-lit horizon. With a little more distance, Earth becomes small enough to cover with a fingertip. You can still sense its warmth, though not physically but emotionally, like recalling a memory of home. Around you, the darkness deepens, but it is never truly dark. Starlight leaks into every corner, thin as faint smoke, creating an almost velvety glow. You drift effortlessly, as if carried by a tide that needs no sound or force, only time. And as you glide, a realization settles in. Every star you see belongs to something larger than itself, a galaxy waiting to be visited. Even before you reach our first destination, the Milky Way reveals itself not as a picture, but as an environment. Its great spiral arms arc outward like soft, glowing rivers looping through darkness. The stars nearest to you burn with a steady radiance, while the distant ones shimmer with a faint trembling, almost like fireflies behind a curtain of dusk. You feel as though you are being pulled gently inward towards something ancient and vast, like a dream opening slowly. The deeper you drift into the Milky Way's outskirts, the more its structure becomes clear. The stars are not scattered randomly. They orbit in slow, coordinated harmony, all carried by gravity's invisible choreography. You pass near clusters where young blue stars burn fiercely, their light sharp and cold, illuminating clouds of gas like lanterns inside mist. You sense the movement, not rushed, but eternal, as if every star has known its path for billions of years. Far below you, dust lanes stretch like dark rivers weaving through starlight. They're not empty. They hold the raw material of future suns. If you listen closely, not with ears but with imagination, you might almost hear a faint hum, like a low musical note resonating through cosmic time. Astronomers sometimes call these regions stellar nurseries. But drifting through them feels more like wandering through a quiet forest at night, where something new sleeps in every shadow. As you glide deeper into the galactic disk, you encounter stars older than Earth itself. Some glow red and dim, like embers holding the last warmth of a long-forgotten fire. Others flicker irregularly, their brightness rising and fading in gentle pulses. Each one carries a history, a lifespan stretching across time in a way human years cannot capture. You drift among them, feeling not small, but connected, part of the same cosmic story written in starlight. Moving farther inward, you notice how the density increases. Stars gather like grains of gold swirling in a slow-moving river. Their collective light softens the darkness into a warm, hazy glow. If Earth felt like home, this region feels like the busy heart of a grand city, quiet only because distance muffles its noise. Everything moves in vast circular arcs, as though the galaxy itself is breathing around you. Occasionally, you pass a system with planets. Some are icy, glistening like marbles coated in frost. Others glow faintly with volcanic heat, scattered with crimson cracks across their surfaces. A few may hold oceans that reflect starlight like silver glass. None of them look like Earth, yet each one feels like a whisper of possibility. A reminder that the universe rarely repeats itself, but it often rhymes. As you drift toward the Orion Arm, our galactic neighborhood, familiar patterns begin to emerge. The Orion Nebula unfurls in soft petals of purple and blue, glowing as if illuminated from within. This massive cloud of dust and gas feels alive in its own slow way, rippling with newborn stars that flicker like sparks rising from a quiet fire. Even though you're only passing through, you feel the warmth of creation surrounding you. The deeper you gaze into the Orion Nebula, the more detail appears. Wisps of gas curl like smoke, forming shapes that shift and stretch with the slow rhythm of gravity. Some regions glow bright from fierce radiation, while others remain dark and cool, waiting for time to sculpt new stars from their shadows. Drifting here feels like floating inside a painting, one that changes imperceptibly with every breath. Leaving the nebula, the Milky Way opens once again into a vast corridor of starlight. You travel through it almost effortlessly, carried by a sense of direction you didn't know you had. Ahead, faint clusters sparkle like distant villages, each one a small gathering of stars bound together by shared gravity. Passing near them feels intimate, as if you are glimpsing communities forming in the dark. One cluster in particular glows with remarkable clarity. Its stars are packed so closely that their combined light forms a soft halo around the region. Blue-white giants burn brightest at its center, their intense heat pushing outward like the glow of a hidden furnace. But as you drift around the edges, you also spot red dwarfs, small, cool stars with long, steady lives. There is harmony here, a balance between youth and age. Farther ahead, you approach an interstellar void, a region of space where stars grow sparse. It feels different from the darkness of deep space, This is a silence made of distance, not emptiness. Drifting through it is like wandering across a quiet plain where the nearest tree stands miles away. The stillness is striking, but never lonely. You can still feel the galaxy's heartbeat, steady and warm. Beyond the void, the galactic bulge begins to rise. It glows with a soft golden haze, like candlelight diffused through fog. Thousands of ancient stars fill the region, their colors blending into a warm, honey-like radiance. These are some of the oldest suns in the galaxy, survivors from a time when the Milky Way was young and chaotic. As you pass them, you feel as though you're moving through a library of light, where each star holds a story older than human history. The gravitational pull grows subtly stronger here, not enough to move you physically, but enough to remind you that the galaxy is a living structure, held together by forces so vast they seem almost gentle. You drift near a compact cluster where stars orbit each other in tight, elegant loops, like dancers circling endlessly in a slow cosmic waltz. Closer to the core, the light brightens into a golden blaze. But even here, details emerge. Clouds of dust slicing across the glow like rivers of shadow. Bright knots where stars collide or merge. Vast arcs of swirling motion. The core of the Milky Way feels alive, intense and radiant, but not chaotic. It moves with purpose, as if following a rhythm older than time. You drift along the outskirts of the core, observing the motion without being pulled in. The stars here move faster, their orbits tightened by the immense gravitational influence of something unseen. You don't see it directly, but you sense it. The supermassive black hole at the galaxy's center, a silent anchor holding this vast spiral together. As you continue past the core, the density begins to thin again. The stars grow more spaced, the darkness more pronounced, but the sense of motion remains constant. You realize that the Milky Way isn't static. It's alive in its own cosmic way, every star participating in a slow, perpetual dance. Eventually, you drift into the outer halo, a region of ancient stars and invisible dark matter. The stars here burn faintly, like memories nearly forgotten. Even the space between them feels different, softer somehow, as if the galaxy's glow has faded into a gentle twilight. It's peaceful here, almost sacred. As you look back, the Milky Way reveals its full shape, a luminous spiral stretching across the dark, glowing like a cosmic flower blooming in silence. Seeing it from this distance fills you with a calm awe, a sense of perspective that softens every worry you once carried. You drift a little farther, letting the view expand. The galaxy rotates so slowly you almost can't perceive the motion, yet you know it's there. A slow turning that has lasted for billions of years and will continue for billions more. It's comforting in a way to know that the universe moves with such enduring patience, and as you float beyond our galactic home, you feel the first gentle pull of other galaxies calling from the cosmic deep. The journey is just beginning, and the universe, vast, ancient, and full of wonders, waits ahead like an endless ocean. The moment you drift beyond the halo of the Milky Way, the darkness changes character. It becomes smoother, deeper, like velvet stretched across an infinite canvas. Stars grow sparse, and the light behind you fades into a soft glow. The Milky Way shrinking into a luminous whirlpool suspended in silence. You float gently forward, carried by the quiet momentum of leaving home. Ahead of you, tiny smudges appear, faint at first, like distant lanterns swaying in an endless night. As you approach the nearest of these smudges, it sharpens into a thin, elliptical glow. The Large Magellanic Cloud, one of our closest galactic companions. From far away, it looks delicate, almost shy, hanging off the edge of the cosmos like a soft brushstroke. But as you glide closer, you see that it is full of life. Clusters, gas clouds, star-forming regions scattered like glowing seeds. The galaxy feels young, restless, and bright, as if it's still learning how to shape itself from raw cosmic clay. Drifting into the outskirts of the Large Magellanic Cloud, you pass streams of stars that trail behind the galaxy like faint ribbons. These tidal features are created by interactions with the Milky Way, as if the two galaxies had brushed hands in their long orbits around one another. The stars here shine crisp and sharp, untouched by heavy dust, their light falling across your path like tiny silver raindrops. Even though this galaxy is small compared to ours, its radiance feels intimate and warm. Farther inward, you reach the famous Tarantula Nebula, a colossal star-forming region glowing with blues, purples and pinks that seem almost unreal. Massive young stars burn fiercely inside this swirling cloud, their radiation sculpting intricate patterns in the gas. It is chaotic, alive and beautiful, like a cosmic storm frozen in slow motion. Drifting through it feels like floating inside the breath of a giant creature, every motion slow and grand. As you move on, the nebula's glow softens behind you, and the galaxy begins to stretch outward again. Small, globular clusters surround you like floating ornaments, ancient spheres of tightly packed stars bound by gravity for billions of years. They drift quietly, untouched and unbothered by the younger, louder events nearby. Passing them feels like entering a temple of time, each star a candle burning steadily through cosmic ages. Leaving the Large Magellanic Cloud, you catch a final glimpse, a faint arc of starlight trailing like a whisper behind it. This galaxy is not alone. Gravitational interactions tie it to the small Magellanic Cloud, a smaller, softer companion glowing several degrees away. As you drift toward it, the darkness brightens slightly, as if guiding you toward the next destination in the cosmic archipelago. The small Magellanic Cloud feels gentler than its larger sibling. Its stars are more scattered, its structure looser, like a dream halfway formed. Approaching it feels like approaching a floating island of soft silver dust. The stars here shimmer delicately, their light faint but steady, forming an uneven lattice across the sky. It is peaceful in a way few places in the universe are, a sanctuary of simplicity. Moving deeper into this little galaxy, you find pockets of star formation glowing faintly. They are smaller than the colossal Tarantula Nebula, but no less beautiful. They flicker softly like little sparks rising through dark water, each one a cradle for future suns. You drift among them slowly, noticing how the gas clouds curl and stretch, shaped by gentle gravitational tides rather than violent internal forces. At the heart of the small Magellanic Cloud, the stars cluster more tightly. Some shine bright white, others deep red, a contrast that gives the region a textured beauty, like warm embers scattered across frost. Despite its modest size, this galaxy carries an emotional weight. It feels like the quiet chapter in a larger story, supporting the Milky Way like a companion walking beside it through the cosmos. Soon, you drift beyond its edges, leaving both Magellanic Clouds glowing behind you like twin lanterns in deep night. Ahead, the universe grows darker again, but not empty. Faint spots appear far away, hints of galaxies waiting to be visited. The nearest of them, the Andromeda Galaxy, shines like a distant ghost rising from the horizon. Even from here, its elongated shape is visible, a pale ellipse stretching like a whisper across the dark. As you travel toward Andromeda, the space between galaxies becomes a river of void. There are stars here, but few, lonely travelers wandering the deep dark between massive islands of light. They drift quietly, long removed from any home galaxy, survivors of ancient gravitational battles. Passing them feels like meeting wanderers who forgot where they came from, but continue moving forward anyway. The closer you approach Andromeda, the larger it becomes. First, a fingernail-sized glow, then a soft halo, then immense spiral arms unfolding like wings. From this distance, it feels alive, pulsing with quiet energy. It is both familiar and foreign, a sibling to the Milky Way, yet older, larger, and brighter. Andromeda has a presence, a gravity not just physical but emotional, drawing you toward it as if welcoming you. Entering the outskirts of Andromeda, the stars thicken once more. Streams of stars arc outward, forming long tidal tails from ancient galactic mergers. These stellar rivers curve gracefully through the dark, shimmering like stardust scattered across a black ocean. Drifting through them feels like walking through a hallway of memories, each star a remnant of galaxies that Andromeda absorbed long ago. Farther inward, the galaxy brightens like dawn, clusters glow in golden tones, and the spiral arms twist with luminous beauty. Blue star-forming regions dot the arms like glowing beads, while dark dust lanes snake through the light in delicate, soft curves. Drifting here is like moving through living architecture, not built by hands, but sculpted by time and gravity across billions of years. As you move deeper, the spins of the arms become subtly perceptible. The entire galaxy rotates around its hidden center, a slow, majestic turning that feels less like motion and more like breathing. Stars orbit smoothly, each one following a path set long before humanity existed. The scale is overwhelming but not frightening. Instead, it fills you with a quiet awe, as if witnessing the heartbeat of a cosmic giant. Approaching the core of Andromeda, the light intensifies into a warm golden blaze. The stars here are densely packed, forming a glowing sphere that radiates across space like a lantern. But even within this brightness, shadows fall. Dust clouds weave through the core, creating patterns of light and darkness that shift slowly, like curtains moving in a silent wind. You drift past the core, feeling its gravitational pull gently tug at you, not enough to trap you, but enough to remind you of the immense forces shaping this galaxy. Here, stars move faster, pulled by the mass at the center, dancing in tight loops through the glow. It is a symphony of motion, ancient and perpetual. Farther beyond the core, the darkness begins to return. The arms thin, the stars fade. The galaxy resolves back into a distant shape, shrinking behind you as you float onward, but the journey has changed you. Once you leave Andromeda, the universe ahead feels larger, deeper, richer. There are more galaxies, more wonders, more quiet stories waiting to be discovered. You drift farther, letting Andromeda shrink into a glimmer. Ahead, the cosmic ocean stretches endlessly, filled with galaxies waiting like distant islands. And with each breath, you feel the space around you soften, an invitation to continue, to wander deeper, to see what else the universe keeps hidden in its quiet, glowing heart. Drifting beyond Andromeda, you enter a vast expanse where distance stretches and deepens like a soft exhale. The galaxies behind you fade into gentle, glowing islands of light, and for the first time, you feel what it means to traverse the true space between galaxies. This region is calm, almost sacred, filled with darkness so smooth it feels like floating through ink diluted with faint starlight. Yet even here, light survives. Tiny, far-off galaxies speckle the void like scattered embers. As you continue, you encounter dwarf galaxies that orbit the larger ones of our local group. They appear first as pale smudges, then resolve into delicate structures of stars bound loosely by gravity. Some are tidy spheres glowing softly with ancient red stars, while others are irregular and chaotic, like clusters still searching for their shape. Passing through them feels like crossing small, forgotten villages, old but enduring. One such dwarf, the Triangulum Galaxy's companion, hangs like a faint tear of silver suspended in the dark. Its stars are sparse, each one shining with a lonely resilience. You can sense their age, billions of years old, survivors of countless cosmic tides. These galaxies don't boast the grand spirals of the Milky Way or Andromeda, but there's a quiet dignity in their simplicity. They drift as silent witnesses to the local group's long history. Farther on, you reach the Triangulum Galaxy itself, smaller than Andromeda but brighter in personality. It glows with a subtle intensity, its spiral arms thinner and more open, as if welcoming anyone who approaches. From afar, it resembles a delicate seashell carved from light. As you drift into its outskirts, star-forming regions pepper the arms with soft blue glimmers, like bioluminescent plankton floating in a cosmic tide. Entering deeper into Triangulum, the dust lanes grow intricate and fine, swirling between clusters of newborn stars. The galaxy feels youthful, energetic, almost playful compared to the ancient majesty of Andromeda. You drift alongside a bright cluster where the stars burn hot and fierce, releasing ultraviolet radiation that shapes the gas around them like sculptors working slowly over millennia. Even in this silent vacuum, you feel the urgency of creation. Passing through the inner regions, the stars grow more densely packed but still maintain a sense of spaciousness. Unlike the Milky Way's thicker arms, Triangulum's structure feels airy, almost delicate. You float near glowing knots of star formation, their colors brilliant and soft at once. Pinks, blues, and pale purples blending like watercolor, spreading through silk. Drifting here feels like swimming through a luminous tide pool frozen in time. Leaving Triangulum, you glide through another quiet stretch of intergalactic space. The distances widen again, and the glow of the local group's major galaxies diminishes behind you. Ahead lies a massive, dark expanse, the silent ocean between galaxy families. But even here, small galaxies drift, gathering in little clusters where gravity gently binds them. They shimmer faintly, like lanterns floating on a nighttime sea. You approach one such cluster, where a pair of dwarf galaxies orbit each other in a slow, graceful loop. Their stars flicker softly as they dance together, bound by a gravitational bond older than human civilization. Watching them feels like witnessing a cosmic duet, gentle, patient, everlasting. Their orbits will continue long after the Milky Way and Andromeda merge billions of years from now. Farther out, the local group's boundary begins to reveal itself. It has no walls, no physical borders, but the density of galaxies changes subtly. The farther you drift, the fewer companions you find. The space becomes deeper, quieter. It is like walking from a bustling village into the outskirts of an ancient forest, where silence becomes a companion rather than an absence. As you cross this threshold, the galaxies behind you take on the appearance of constellations, points of light arranged not by design, but by perspective. The Milky Way gleams like a distant spiral of milk poured softly across darkness. Andromeda stretches in a pale ellipse, serene and proud. Triangulum twinkles like a delicate jewel. Their combined glow forms the last warm light you will see for a while. Now you drift into a region astronomers call the local void, a relatively empty stretch of space adjacent to the local group. Entering it feels like descending into deep water. The light behind fades, and the darkness grows thicker, richer, more enveloping. Yet it isn't frightening. It carries a strange peace, like silence that listens instead of oppressing. The stars here are exceptionally sparse, isolated like distant outposts. In this vast dark, you sense the subtle pull of the galaxies receding behind you. Their gravitational influence weakens, and for the first time, you feel the scale of the universe not as an idea, but as an experience. Distance becomes a presence. Time feels slower, softer. You start to understand why astronomers describe voids as the universe's quietest rooms. Eventually, faint glimmers appear ahead, tiny sparks barely visible against the darkness. These are the first galaxies of the next major structure, the Virgo supercluster, a sprawling collection of galaxies bound loosely together. Approaching the outskirts feels like emerging from a long tunnel into a distant city. Its lights faint at first, but growing steadily brighter as you approach. The first of these galaxies drifts into view, small but well-defined. It is brighter than the dwarfs you met earlier and carries itself with more structure. Its starlight washes over you like a soft glow, subtle yet reassuring. Around it, other galaxies hang in delicate arrangements, forming the outskirts of the Virgo cluster, the heart of our supercluster. As you drift closer, the number of galaxies multiplies. At first they appear scattered, then they form patterns, strings, sheets, loose gatherings. The architecture of this region becomes clear, gravity sculpting galaxies into vast cosmic neighborhoods, each shining with billions of stars. It feels like entering a grand cosmic metropolis spread across millions of light years. One galaxy, brighter and larger than the rest, catches your attention. It glows with a warm, steady brilliance, a giant elliptical galaxy filled with old stars. Approaching it feels like approaching an ancient library lit by golden lamps. The stars here are quiet, steady, unwavering. They have burned for billions of years, witnessing epochs far beyond human imagination. Passing it, you drift near a spiral galaxy with sweeping arms that stretch outward like swirling ribbons. Star-forming regions pulse gently along its arms, giving the galaxy a shimmering, dynamic beauty. The contrast between old and young galaxies here creates a sense of balance, like walking through a city where centuries coexist side by side. As you move deeper into the Virgo cluster, galaxies begin to appear in every direction. Some glow softly, others blaze with intense luminosity. A few show scars from recent collisions, twisted arms, stretched halos, streams of stars torn loose by gravitational tides. But even these chaotic forms carry beauty, shaped by forces that act slowly and patiently across time. You drift through this cosmic crowd, feeling both surrounded and completely safe. The galaxies move slowly, their motions imperceptible in human time but steady across cosmic ages. Their presence feels like company, not loud or intrusive but comforting, like candle flames flickering in a vast, quiet hall. Eventually, as you pass through the outer edges of Virgo, the galaxies begin to thin again. The cosmic metropolis fades behind you, but the memory of its glow lingers like warmth on the skin. Ahead lies deeper space, quieter, slower, softer. But now you understand something new. Even the emptiest regions of the universe are connected by these grand structures, each galaxy a node in a vast, intricate web. You drift onward into the gentle darkness, carrying with you the glow of every galaxy you have passed. Small, large, bright, faint, each one a chapter in the story of the universe's luminous architecture. The deeper you drift into the Virgo supercluster, the more the darkness transforms. It is no longer a silent, empty ocean, but a wide field dotted with glowing cities of light. Galaxies gather in patterns so massive they seem impossible, long filaments stretching across millions of light years, like threads woven into the fabric of existence. Floating here feels like stepping into the architecture of the universe itself, not random by, but intricately organized. You sense gravity's influence more clearly now, though not in a physical way. It appears as a kind of gentle guidance, shaping the path of galaxies into elegant arcs and sweeping flows. The Virgo supercluster is not chaotic. It breathes. Its galaxies, though separated by distances beyond comprehension, move collectively, drifting inward like leaves carried by a vast cosmic breeze. You follow their flow, drifting deeper into the luminous heart. Ahead, a massive elliptical galaxy rises out of the darkness like a golden sun suspended in deep space. It is M87, one of the brightest and most powerful galaxies in the cluster. From afar, it glows with a steady, ancient radiance, its light soft yet commanding. As you approach, you notice a faint jet of energy extending outward, a narrow, brilliant beam emitted by the supermassive black hole at its center. Drifting near it feels like passing a lighthouse whose beam spans thousands of light years. Entering M87's stellar halo, you find yourself surrounded by ancient stars. Their light is warm, honey-colored, steady. These stars have endured since the early universe, burning through cosmic storms and galactic collisions. There is a quiet wisdom in their light, a sense of endurance that speaks to the galaxy's long history. You drift among them, feeling as though you are walking through the memories of time itself. At the galaxy's core, the light brightens dramatically. The supermassive black hole, one of the largest known, exerts an immense influence on the stars around it, guiding them in rapid, graceful orbits. Even though you cannot see the black hole directly, you can sense its presence. The space around you feels compressed, dense with motion, as if every particle is aware of the gravitational giant at the center. Yet there is no fear, only awe, as if witnessing the heart of a cosmic engine. Leaving M87, you drift into a region filled with sparkling globular clusters. They float like celestial snow globes, each one a compact sphere of hundreds of thousands of stars. Their symmetry is mesmerizing, perfect spheres glowing with a soft, silvery light. Passing them feels like gliding through a grand hall lined with ancient chandeliers, each star a delicate crystal suspended in darkness. Beyond these clusters, a spiral galaxy unfurls gracefully. Its arms are long and slender, twisting like ribbons in a slow cosmic dance. Blue star-forming regions shimmer along the spirals, while dark dust lanes create soft shadows that accentuate the galaxy's shape. Drifting through its arms feels like floating through streams of glowing mist, each star a drop of luminous rain. Deeper into the cluster, galaxy interactions become more common. You pass a pair of galaxies locked in a gentle gravitational embrace. They stretch and pull at each other, their stars flowing between them like threads of gold. This cosmic dance is slow, unfolding over billions of years, yet in this moment it feels intimate, as though you are witnessing a quiet conversation between ancient beings. Nearby, a smaller galaxy appears torn and distorted, the result of a recent collision. Its arms are twisted, its dust lanes scattered, but even in this apparent chaos, beauty thrives. New stars ignite in the turbulent regions, glowing with vibrant blues and purples. Creation and destruction blur together here, showing that galaxies reshape themselves just as forests regrow after storms. As you continue drifting, you enter a dense pocket of the Virgo cluster. Galaxies crowd the space around you, glowing in every direction like lanterns along a vast celestial avenue. Some spiral elegantly, others appear as smooth ellipses, while a few are irregular, shaped by gravitational encounters. The variety is astonishing. It feels like walking through a gallery of cosmic sculptures, each one unique but unified by the same fundamental forces. In this region, the collective light from countless galaxies brightens the darkness into a soft, golden haze. You feel absolutely surrounded, as though standing in the center of a cathedral whose walls are carved from starlight. The scale is overwhelming, yet the atmosphere remains calm, serene even. The universe, in all its immensity, feels strangely gentle here. A little farther on, you encounter a cluster of galaxies connected by faint streams of stars. These are tidal remnants, traces of ancient collisions that left behind glowing bridges across space. They stretch like ghostly threads, linking galaxies that once touched and then drifted apart. Passing through them feels like crossing old, quiet bridges that still remember the footsteps of those who built them. Beyond these streams, the structure of the supercluster becomes clearer. Galaxies align into filaments, long, thin structures stretching further than your eyes can follow. They resemble strands of luminous silk woven into the cosmos. Gravity gathers galaxies along these filaments, drawing them inward toward massive nodes like Virgo. Drifting along one of these filaments feels like following a river of light through an infinite forest. Eventually, you reach a vast, open region where galaxies thin out again. This ebb and flow, dense clusters followed by quiet voids, is the rhythm of the universe on its largest scales. You glide through a region where only a few galaxies shimmer faintly, each one isolated but still connected to the cosmic web. The silence is profound, deeper than any you've felt so far. But even in this quiet, you notice movement. The galaxies here are not still, they drift slowly toward Virgo's core, pulled by its immense gravity. This infall is subtle, imperceptible in human time. Yet as you float here, you sense the slow migration of cosmic structures, galaxies sliding through dark currents toward brighter shores. You drift onward, past solitary ellipticals glowing like floating embers and spirals, whose arms unfurl gently into the void. Each galaxy is a universe unto itself, filled with billions of stars and trillions of stories. Yet from this vantage point, they seem peaceful, unhurried, patient. The universe's vastness has a calming effect, softening every thought into something slow and contemplative. Farther still, you approach a group of galaxies locked together in a loose cluster. They orbit a common center, moving like dancers in a cosmic circle. Some are bright and youthful, others faint and aged. Their diversity is soothing, a reminder that the universe doesn't follow a single rhythm but a symphony of many tempos. Leaving this cluster, the light begins to thin one final time. Ahead lies a long stretch of darkness, not empty but more spacious. The galaxies behind you glow like a distant constellation now, their combined light fading into a subtle haze. The Virgo supercluster stretches behind you like a luminous tapestry, a place of structure and beauty woven across unimaginable distances. As you drift farther into the quiet, you realize something profound. The universe is not just filled with galaxies, it is shaped by them. Their motions, their interactions, their light, all contribute to the cosmic landscape you are slowly charting. The journey ahead promises even more wonders, but for now you simply float, letting the memory of Virgo's glowing heart settle around you like a warm, golden cloak. Leaving the luminous heart of the Virgo supercluster, you drift into a region where the universe stretches out like an enormous, delicate map. At this distance, galaxies no longer appear as isolated islands of light, but as beads strung along invisible threads. These threads form the cosmic web, the largest structure ever discovered, a network of filaments, walls, and voids that spans billions of light years. Floating here feels like hovering over the roots of some cosmic tree, each galaxy a glowing fruit hanging from an unseen branch. As you approach one of these filaments, its scale becomes clearer. What looked like a thin streak from afar now reveals itself as a highway of galaxies, thousands lined up in an elegant procession. They stretch across space in a long, gentle curve, following the gravitational pull of even larger structures. Drifting along this filament feels like sailing down a river of starlight, each galaxy a boat drifting in the same quiet current. The first galaxy you pass glows with a soft blue hue. Its spiral arms are loose, almost wispy, as if shaped by the longing to expand. You drift close enough to see star-forming regions pulsing with youthful energy, like lanterns glowing behind frosted glass. This galaxy sits in the middle of the filament, moving with the collective flow, not fast, not slow, but with a steady grace that mirrors the rhythm of the universe itself. Farther along, you encounter a galaxy, undergoing a subtle transformation. Its spiral arms appear stretched, pulled slightly in one direction by the gravitational influence of a larger neighbor farther down the filament. You watch stars migrate outward along the distorted arm, their paths tracing slow arcs that reflect the quiet tension of cosmic tides. Even the universe's largest structures feel this gentle tug of war, shaping galaxies as easily as waves shape sand. As you drift, faint streams of stars appear, tidal remnants from galaxies that once merged or collided. These streams wrap around galaxies like faint scarves of silver, their stars arranged in long, delicate arcs. Passing through them feels like walking through ancient ruins, remnants of past encounters etched across the sky. They remind you that even cosmic giants interact, lean into each other, reshape themselves, and continue onward. Soon, you reach a galaxy cluster embedded along the filament, glowing like a bright knot in a long strand. Dozens of galaxies crowd together here, orbiting a shared center of mass. Their combined light brightens the surrounding darkness, forming a warm, glowing constellation within the cosmic web. As you pass between them, you see spirals, ellipticals, irregulars, every galactic shape mingling in this luminous gathering. At the cluster's edge, an elliptical galaxy stands out. It glows with a steady golden light, its stars tightly packed, its shape smooth and rounded. Inside, stellar motions are chaotic. Stars move in all directions, unlike the organized rotation of spirals. Yet from afar, the galaxy feels silent, composed, ancient. You drift past it like drifting past an old, meditative monument carved from starlight. Moving beyond the cluster, the filament narrows, guiding you like a gentle path. The galaxies here are spaced farther apart, but still aligned in a recognizable pattern. Some shine brightly, others are faint smudges lost in the glow of their neighbors. Gravity holds them all in place, drawing them toward the same distant destination. This shared motion creates a sense of companionship, even among objects separated by millions of light years. One galaxy ahead bursts with intense blue light, a sign of rapid star formation. Its arms shimmer with clusters of young stars, bright and restless. Drifting close feels like floating near a cosmic fireworks display frozen in slow motion. Stellar nurseries glow with pink and purple clouds of gas, illuminated from within by newborn suns. The energy here is vibrant, radiant, lively, a stark contrast to the quiet ellipticals you passed earlier. A little farther along, the filament splits into two branches like a river diverging. You follow the main one, drawn by the faint glow of structure ahead. As you drift through the branching region, galaxies tilt and align in slightly different orientations, their positions shaped by the gravitational layout of the web. It feels like walking through a crossroads of light, where all paths eventually reconnect. Continuing on, you pass near a galaxy whose core shines unusually bright. A supermassive black hole feeds at its center, pulling matter inward and releasing enormous energy in return. The nucleus glows like a tiny beacon, casting a faint cone of light into surrounding space. Even at great distance, the brilliance is unmistakable. The galaxy seems to breathe with quiet fire, its heart beating in radiant pulses. Beyond this, the filament widens again. Galaxies scatter slightly, as if relaxing after a long stretch of organized motion. Their spacing becomes more varied, creating a feeling of openness, yet they still belong to the same structure. their subtle alignment unmistakable. Filaments aren't rigid, they are fluid, shaped by the flow of dark matter beneath them. Drifting here feels like gliding through an unseen riverbed carved over eons. You encounter a pair of galaxies moving toward each other, not fast, but inevitably. Their halos overlap, creating soft gradients of light around them. This slow approach will take billions of years, but from your quiet vantage point, the gradual convergence radiates a peaceful certainty. In cosmic time, even collisions are gentle, graceful, and patient. As you continue, the galaxies thin out again. You drift through a region with only sparse points of light, isolated travelers wandering the web. These lone galaxies feel like forgotten songs, carried across the universe by currents too subtle for human senses. They shine with quiet dignity, refusing to fade despite their solitude. Ahead, the filament begins to brighten once more. You sense the presence of a massive structure drawing you in, a supercluster even larger than Virgo, part of the greater Laniakea supercluster, the true home of the Milky Way. Approaching it feels like approaching a continent after crossing endless seas. The galaxies grow denser, their alignment clearer, their combined glow brighter. As you drift into the outskirts, patterns emerge again. Arcs, walls, and threads woven into majestic forms. The cosmic web reveals itself in its full elegance, not chaotic, not random, but sculpted by gravity with an artistry beyond human scale. Every galaxy participates in this grand design, moving not independently, but as part of a vast cosmic choreography. Farther in, the galaxies increase in number. Their light overlaps, building a soft golden haze that paints the darkness with a warm glow. Drifting through this region feels like walking through a field of lanterns illuminated on a calm night. Each galaxy shines with its own voice, yet together they create a harmony so subtle it feels like silence wrapped in light. Eventually, you cross into a more open region again, where the density dips and the filament transitions gently into another structure. The universe breathes here, expansion and structure weaving together in a subtle rhythm. You drift along with it, carried effortlessly through a landscape shaped by forces older than galaxies themselves. Behind you, the filament glows like a luminous path stretching across the deep. Ahead, new structures rise, faint at first, then clearer, beckoning you to continue your journey through the grand architecture of the cosmos. Crossing the luminous strands of the cosmic web, you drift toward regions where the universe reveals its grandest patterns. The scale expands once more, and the galaxies begin to gather in ever larger formations. Superclusters that rise like continents, shimmering in deep space. From afar, they look like misty patches, faint clouds suspended across unimaginable distance. But as you approach, the faintness dissolves into complexity, thousands of galaxies arranged in sweeping arcs, walls, and filaments that stretch for hundreds of millions of light years. The first of these giants looms ahead, glowing like a vast mural painted in starlight. Its structure resembles a sprawling chain of luminous cities connected by delicate bridges of galaxies. You drift toward one of these bridges, feeling the gravitational currents flowing along it like an unseen tide. The galaxies align in a gentle curve, each moving slowly toward the supercluster's core. The motion is subtle, but it creates a sense of direction, a cosmic river guiding everything forward. As you glide along this river, you encounter a cluster dominated by a massive spiral galaxy. Its arms sweep outward in long, graceful spirals, glowing blue at the edges where new stars ignite. Dark dust lanes curl through the arms like ink brushed across a glowing canvas, adding contrast and depth. Drifting close to its periphery feels like floating beside a living sculpture carved by gravity's timeless hand. Farther in, the galaxy's core glows with a warm intensity, surrounded by star clusters orbiting like embedded jewels. Some of these clusters shine with young blue stars, while others contain ancient red suns that have outlived multiple generations of cosmic upheaval. The mix of ages gives the galaxy a layered beauty, like rings in a tree revealing its history. You drift past them, feeling the slow heartbeat of this distant island of light. Leaving the spiral behind, you enter a quieter region studded with elliptical galaxies. These giants glow steadily, their light diffuse and soft, their shapes smooth like polished stones. Inside, stars move chaotically, swirling without a defined pattern. Yet from afar, their glow exudes a quiet dignity, a sense of deep age, of time measured not in years, but in cosmic epochs. Passing them feels like floating past ancient temples built of light. The supercluster becomes denser as you move toward its center. Here, galaxies gather in tight formations, glowing like embers clustered in a vast cosmic hearth. Their interactions are more frequent, distorted spirals with stretched arms, irregular galaxies pulled into new shapes, streams of stars torn loose by gravitational tides. Even amid this quiet night, the motion of galaxies reveals a universe constantly reshaping itself. You drift toward a pair of galaxies caught in the early stages of merging. Their halos overlap, and faint bridges of stars stretch between them like luminous tendrils. Over billions of years, they will collide gently, their structures blending into one. But for now, they circle each other in a slow cosmic waltz, their combined glow softening the darkness around them. Watching them feels like witnessing two distant worlds fall into shared motion. Moving away from the cluster, you slip into a thinner region where galaxies appear more spaced, scattered across a black canvas. But even here, faint patterns reveal themselves. Lines of alignment, slight curvatures, gravitational flows. The cosmic web extends through this region too, though its structure is more subtle. Drifting here feels like floating above a whisper of organization, too faint for most to notice, yet undeniably present. Ahead, a larger, brighter structure begins to rise, an immense supercluster wall, one of the universe's grandest arrangements. This wall stretches across hundreds of millions of light years, packed with galaxies arranged in a broad, sweeping plain. From afar, it looks like a faint fog illuminated by countless sparks. As you draw closer, entire galaxies appear like grains of sand in a luminous dune. Its scale defies understanding, a cosmic continent carved from light. Entering the wall, the stars feel more numerous, even though you're only passing between galaxies. Their combined glow brightens the void into a gentle twilight. Spirals, ellipticals, dwarfs, they're all here, suspended in a delicate geometry shaped by the underlying dark matter skeleton. Drifting through them feels like walking through a hall framed by glowing pillars, each galaxy a pillar rising from the invisible floor of the cosmos. Deeper in the wall, you pass a chain of irregular galaxies glowing with pink and purple regions. These are places where gas clouds collapse into newborn stars, filling the galaxies with youthful vibrance. Their chaotic shapes reflect ongoing formation, a reminder that in the universe, growth often emerges from disorder. You float past them, noticing how their light pulses softly like hearts beating under layers of mist. Beyond this chain, the structure changes subtly again. The galaxies curve downward, forming a vast arc that resembles a cosmic wave frozen in space. This curved wall is one of the largest structures ever discovered, its shape shaped by gravity's patient hand. Drifting along its edge feels like sailing beside a frozen tidal crest made of galaxies instead of water. Eventually, the supercluster wall thins, and the galaxies begin to spread apart. You move through a transitional region where light fades into the quiet of open space. Here, Dwarf galaxies drift like tiny lanterns carried by distant currents. Some appear as faint smudges, others shine sharply with solitary brilliance. They float through this sparse region like nomads traveling between vast cosmic nations. Farther ahead, you glimpse another filament rising from the dark. But this one is thinner, less structured, a faded thread connecting one colossal region to another. You drift onto it, letting its subtle gravitational current carry you. The galaxies along this filament glow intermittently, like lanterns spaced along a long, lonely road. Their presence is comforting even when sparse. Eventually, the filament widens once more, opening into a brighter region, a new supercluster, part of the larger cosmic architecture that spans billions of light years. The universe expands in every direction, yet these structures reveal a hidden order, a sense of connectedness that stretches across unimaginable distances. Drifting here, you feel the universe growing not emptier, but more intricate. As you float farther into this new region, the galaxies become more numerous again, forming clusters linked by glowing threads. They gather like families across a cosmic landscape, each cluster with its own character, some bright and dense, others loose and airy. You drift between them, feeling the subtle gravity pull you gently forward, deeper into the skeleton of the cosmos. Behind you, the wall of the previous supercluster glows like a distant memory. Ahead, the cosmic web continues, weaving through the universe in patterns too vast for the human mind to fully grasp. Yet drifting here, surrounded by galaxies in every direction, you feel not overwhelmed, but quietly, deeply at peace. Leaving the vast architecture of superclusters behind, you drift outward once more into the great intergalactic deep. The light thins gradually, like dusk settling over an endless ocean. Galaxies become smaller on the horizon, shrinking into gentle sparks scattered across the cosmic night. The emptiness around you expands into something almost serene, a quiet so complete it feels like a blanket around your thoughts, softening every edge. Here, distance stretches not in miles but in silence, and you float weightlessly through it. Even this emptiness has structure, subtle and delicate. Faint wisps of hydrogen drift like pale smoke across the blackness, glowing ever so slightly under the influence of distant starlight. These clouds are remnants of ancient collisions and primordial gas, the universe's oldest whispers still lingering in the dark. You move through them slowly, watching them fold and stretch in patterns too gentle to disturb. Their faint glow feels like the breath of the cosmos, thin, fragile, yet eternal. Ahead, a small galaxy appears, a dwarf irregular floating alone in the sparse void. Its shape is asymmetrical, almost chaotic, as if it was sculpted by a wandering breeze rather than gravity. Clusters of newborn stars glimmer unevenly across its surface, giving it the appearance of a lantern whose flame flickers in the dark. You drift close enough to sense the quiet turbulence inside it. Gas clouds collapsing, tiny star clusters forming, slow motions shaping its uneven contours. As you pull away, the little galaxy grows dimmer behind you, almost dissolving into the night. The region ahead becomes darker still. You pass through a stretch of space where galaxies are so distant they appear no brighter than grains of dust caught in moonlight. Yet even here the universe persists. Faint signatures of radiation, ghostly warmth left over from the Big Bang, drifting like a memory woven into the fabric around you. It's quiet enough to hear metaphorical echoes of creation. Then, far in the distance, a brighter cluster appears, small but striking, like a glowing seed in this vast plain. As you approach, dozens of galaxies emerge from the dark, each one orbiting the cluster's center like fireflies circling a candle flame. The gravitational pull here is stronger, sculpting the motion of each galaxy in a pattern subtle yet unmistakably organized. You drift into the cluster's outskirts, moving between galaxies like wandering through monuments of ancient glass. One spiral galaxy catches your attention. It is smaller than the grand spirals you've seen before, but beautifully defined, its arms swirling gracefully around a bright, compact core. Its blue star-forming regions sparkle like jewels arranged in a winding path, and dark dust lanes add a sense of depth and age. As you float past its edge, you feel the gentle rotation of the structure, a slow turning that has continued for billions of years without ever tiring. Beyond the spiral, an elliptical galaxy glows warmly. Its smooth, featureless shape stands in contrast to the intricate spirals nearby, like a candle flame compared to a firework. Inside, stars move in random motions, bouncing through old paths that have remained unchanged for eons. Passing it feels like drifting beside an ancient, perfectly still lake, serene, timeless, undisturbed by the complexities of modern cosmic structures. You drift deeper into the small cluster, feeling the subtle hum of gravitational tension. Several galaxies are linked by faint tidal streams, thin rivers of stars stretching between them, formed by past encounters. These streams glimmer faintly, like threads of silver drifting in the dark. They show how even in the calmest corners of the cosmos, galaxies still shape one another, pulled together like dancers moving in a slow, ancient choreography. Leaving the cluster behind, the darkness expands again. You float into a region where even dwarf galaxies are rare, separated from one another by millions of light years. It feels like entering a desert at night, wide, open, with stars scattered like distant campfires. The silence deepens, and your awareness sharpens, sensing how thin the distribution of matter becomes as you drift farther into the void. A sudden glow appears far ahead, the soft, diffuse light of a Lyman Alpha blob, a rare and mysterious cloud trillions of kilometers across. It glows not from stars, but from energized hydrogen gas illuminated by processes still debated by astronomers. Drifting into it feels like entering a cosmic fog lit by hidden lanterns. The light is smooth, milky, and strangely soothing, as though the universe itself is exhaling a warm sigh. Exiting the glowing cloud, the emptiness sharpens again. You drift into a region where galaxies are more isolated than anywhere you've seen so far. One appears ahead, a lonely spiral suspended in darkness, its arms stretched wide like the wings of a slow-flying bird. It spins in near-perfect solitude, untouched for billions of years. Passing it feels like encountering a hermit living in serene isolation, peaceful, complete in its loneliness. Farther ahead, a faint filament emerges, thin, fragile, barely visible. It connects a few scattered galaxies across an immense span, like a path of lanterns stretching across a dark field. You drift along it, feeling the gentle gravitational pull guiding you forward. The galaxies here are irregular and asymmetrical, shaped by slow interactions that happened long ago and have since faded into silence. As the filament dissolves into darkness, you glide toward a faint glow on the horizon, the edge of a massive void. This void spans hundreds of millions of light years, a region where matter is exceptionally sparse. Entering it feels like stepping into a cavern so large it defies comprehension. Galaxies disappear almost entirely, leaving only the distant shimmer of the cosmic horizon. Yet even here, something remains. Faint cosmic microwave background photons drift around you, relics from the dawn of time. Their presence is subtle, like distant, ancient embers cooling slowly across eternity. Drifting through them feels like touching the oldest memory the universe contains, a silent echo from the moment everything began. In the deeper regions of the void, you encounter a solitary elliptical galaxy floating alone. Its golden glow pierces the darkness, unwavering despite its isolation. It has likely drifted this way for billions of years, separated from larger structures by cosmic expansion. Passing it evokes a strange, peaceful melancholy, as though the galaxy itself has grown accustomed to its solitude, shining quietly in an ocean of silence. As you continue drifting, the void feels endless, but eventually, faint sparks appear ahead, the first hints of another filament. The structure is delicate, like a spider's thread catching the faintest glimmer of starlight. You drift toward it, sensing the universe slowly shifting from emptiness back into connection. This transition feels gentle, like the moment dawn begins to erase the edge of night. Following the filament, the galaxies grow more numerous once again. Small clusters appear like constellations suspended in 3 dimensions, their arrangement guided by ancient currents of dark matter. You float between them, listening to the quiet gravitational dialogue that binds them together. Even after the vast emptiness of the void, the return to cosmic structure feels comforting, like finding familiar lights in a dark landscape. Eventually, the filament broadens into a new network of galaxies, weaving through space with renewed richness. You drift into this region slowly, letting the subtle glow envelop you. The contrast between emptiness and abundance deepens your sense of scale, reminding you that the universe is as much defined by its silence as by its brilliance. And as you glide deeper into this renewed tapestry of light, you feel once again the quiet heartbeat of the cosmos, persistent, patient, inviting you onward. Drifting away from the renewed web of galaxies, you enter a region where distance and time begin to blur. Here, the farther you look, the older everything becomes. Light stretches thin across billions of years, arriving like soft whispers from eras long gone. You float through this dim corridor with a sense of gentle reverence, aware that every glimmer you see is a message traveling across unimaginable epochs, bearing stories from a universe that no longer exists. A faint, reddish galaxy appears ahead, its light stretched by cosmic expansion. It is small, irregular, and dim, a relic of a younger universe. As you approach, you can almost sense its turbulence, rapid star formation, chaotic collisions, clouds collapsing into newborn suns. But all of this is a ghost from the distant past. The galaxy you see now may look nothing like the one that exists today, wherever today is in this cosmic scale. Yet its ancient glow still feels warm, like a quiet ember preserved in the cold. Moving deeper, the light grows even older. You encounter a faint glow from a galaxy born when the universe was only a few billion years old. It is compact, bright, and restless, its stars burning hot and blue. These early galaxies lived quickly, forming stars at frantic rates, shaped by rapid mergers and violent interactions. Drifting past its hazy glow feels like watching the flicker of a distant fire that has long since burned away. As you continue, galaxies become smaller, more primitive. Their shapes are undefined, as though still learning how to hold themselves together. The light from these ancient structures is fragile, trembling at the edge of visibility. Here, the universe resembles a child taking its first steps, uncertain, unrefined, but filled with raw potential. Floating among these ancient forms, you feel as though you're witnessing the universe's earliest attempts at order. Farther ahead, you encounter a galaxy compressed into a brilliant knot. Its stars blaze intensely, clustered in tight formations. This is a starburst galaxy, forming new suns at rates hundreds of times faster than the Milky Way. The airless void around it glows faintly from the radiation pouring out, like mist illuminated by a lantern. Passing through this region, feels like drifting into the warm breath of an ancient furnace. Beyond it lies a quiet pocket of space where the galaxies grow sparse once more. The silence settles over you again, deeper than before. It's the kind of stillness that invites reflection, where the distance itself feels contemplative. Time stretches around you like fabric being gently pulled, and you sense the universe slowing as you drift farther back into its early stages. A cluster of tiny, reddish galaxies appears next, faint smudges against the black. They are among the faintest objects ever detected by telescopes like JWST. Their stars are metal poor, composed almost entirely of hydrogen and helium, a signature of the early cosmos. Passing them feels like reading the first lines of the universe's diary, written in simple strokes yet full of possibility. As you continue, the redshift deepens. Light takes on a dim, ghostly quality, stretched, softened, ancient. The galaxies become even smaller, like shimmering grains scattered on velvet. Some are so distant their light is barely strong enough to register, flickering like memories on the edge of fading. You pass through this region with quiet awe, knowing these galaxies lived and died long before the Milky Way had even formed. Then, a massive protogalactic cloud emerges, glowing faintly with energetic gas. It is not yet a galaxy, but a swirling blueprint of one. Inside, gravity is beginning to sculpt structure, pulling clumps of matter into loose spirals. Drifting through its outskirts feels like watching the early strokes of an unfinished cosmic painting, gentle, swirling, filled with hints of what will someday be. Farther ahead, you encounter a pair of merging proto-galaxies. Their shapes are distorted, elongated by the tidal pull of their encounter. Streams of stars stretch between them like luminous bridges. Though chaotic, their motion feels graceful, like two dancers moving slowly toward one another across a dark stage. Their light is old, their fate already sealed billions of years ago, yet you witness their meeting as if it were happening now. You drift onward, entering an era where the gas is hotter, denser, more chaotic. Early cosmic structures flicker in and out of view, shaped not by peace, but by collisions. Everywhere you look, gravity is sculpting matter with delicate violence. Passing through this region, you sense the youth of the universe, excitable, energetic, restless, still learning how to become the cosmos you know. A soft glow appears ahead, a faint halo of ionized hydrogen. This is the era of reionization, when the first stars and galaxies began to illuminate the darkness and strip electrons from surrounding gas. The glow is subtle, like dawn arriving through a clouded horizon. You drift through it slowly, aware that you're crossing one of the great thresholds of cosmic history. As the glow fades, the darkness deepens once more. Yet this is not the emptiness of intergalactic space. This darkness is older, thicker, untouched by starlight. You are now approaching the earliest structures ever formed. Tiny fluctuations in density, seeded by quantum variations from the first seconds of the universe, appear as faint clouds of gas. They pulse gently as gravity begins its slow work. Passing through them feels like touching the fingerprints of creation. Far ahead, another glow, faint, smooth, diffuse, not from stars, not from galaxies. This is the light of the cosmic microwave background, the oldest light you can ever see. It surrounds you in a soft sphere of warmth, like the lingering memory of a cosmic dawn. Its texture is delicate, mottled with tiny variations that carry the blueprint of all future cosmic structure. Floating within it, you feel as though you're inside the heartbeat of the newborn universe. As you move through this primordial glow, a sense of melancholy settles in, gentle, reflective, almost tender. You are witnessing something that no longer exists, a fossilized imprint of the universe, when it was just 380,000 years old. The galaxies you know, the stars you love, the Milky Way itself, none of them had formed yet. And yet, everything that would someday become familiar was encoded in this soft radiation surrounding you. When the glow finally thins, darkness returns, complete, perfect, untouched. You have drifted as far as light can take you. Beyond this point, there are no stars, no galaxies, no photons, only silence, density, heat, and the raw energy of creation itself. It is the edge of the observable universe, not a wall, but a horizon drawn by time. And as you hover here, suspended at the boundary of light and darkness, you feel the weight of cosmic history settle gently around you, the immense, tender truth that everything you've seen was once compressed into something impossibly small, impossibly hot, impossibly bright. Here, at the universe's edge, the past becomes present, the distant becomes intimate, and the vast becomes strangely human. You linger at the edge of the observable universe, and the quiet feels different now, heavier, older, carrying a depth that asks you to listen with more than your ears. Out here, light becomes fragile, and time unfolds like a long sigh drifting through darkness. You sense the universe not as a place filled with objects, but as a living memory stretching across eons, holding every flicker of brightness that ever dared to shine. In this quiet boundary, the light you see is almost unimaginably old. It has traveled through an expanding cosmos, stretched thinner and redder with each passing billion years. It's soft, almost trembling, like a candle flame trying to survive a cold wind. These ancient photons are the loneliest messengers in existence, and you are here to witness them reach their end. You drift into a region where galaxies appear as faint shadows. Their shapes are warped by gravitational lensing, elongated and curved as though seen through the bottom of a moving stream. Space itself feels distorted, stretched by the weight of massive clusters hiding far beyond your view. Floating past these ghost-like shapes feels like wandering through a hall of cosmic reflections, each one showing a different version of the past. Farther ahead, you encounter a lonely galaxy, isolated from its neighbors by hundreds of millions of light years. It hangs in the void like a suspended lantern, dim yet stubbornly bright. Such lonely galaxies are rare, castaways drifting on the outskirts of cosmic deserts. As you approach, its spiral arms seem fragile, as though they learn to endure the dark by curling inward around their faint core. Passing by, you feel a subtle sadness, a sense that not every galaxy lives a crowded, bustling life. Some drift alone, forming stars quietly, unseen by any cosmic neighbor. And yet, their solitude holds a quiet beauty, reminding you that even in the vastness, existence can persist with gentle dignity. A faint shimmer ahead signals the presence of a collapsing protocluster. Dozens of galaxies inch toward their eventual union, bound by gravity's slow embrace. But the light you see from them is ancient. By now, they may have already merged into a giant elliptical galaxy. You are watching a history that has long since ended, preserved in the form of scattered light lingering across the universe. As you drift past the cluster, the density of galaxies drops again. The darkness grows thicker, velvet-like. You feel suspended in a space where silence has weight, where time feels slower, as though the universe itself is catching its breath. This is a cosmic void, a region so empty that entire galaxies could pass through without noticing each other's existence. The void is not frightening, it's peaceful. Its emptiness gives you space to reflect, to feel the universe on a deeper level. The calm here feels almost sacred, a reminder that even nothingness can have its own kind of presence. Floating through it feels like drifting through the quiet between two heartbeats. Far ahead, a strand of the cosmic web stretches into view, delicate, faint, almost translucent. You follow it, like a traveler walking along a narrow path between dark plains. This thread of matter connects two distant galaxies, a bridge formed by gravity over billions of years. The thought that such fragile structures can shape the cosmos brings a kind of tenderness, as though the universe is holding itself together with invisible hands. As you continue, the thread widens into a filament. Galaxies cling to it like glowing beads on a string, spaced apart but clearly connected. Their collective light illuminates the dark corridors around them, painting soft gradients across the void. It feels like moving along a quiet river at night, guided by lanterns drifting on the surface. One galaxy stands out among them, a small, irregular shape glowing in hues of soft pink and blue. Its light is uneven, flickering with bursts of star formation. Young, massive stars burn brightly, casting warmth across the gas clouds surrounding them. This galaxy feels alive, restless, eager to carve its identity into the universe's early chapters. You drift closer and notice a faint detail. The galaxy is interacting with another tiny neighbor. A bridge of stars and dust stretches between them, forming a luminous handshake across millions of years. Their dance is slow, tender, shaping both of their futures. Watching it feels like observing two fireflies weaving a shared path through the night. As you leave them behind, the filament thins again. Galaxies grow sparse, and the darkness deepens. The universe feels older here, heavier with time, quieter with distance. You sense the expansion more acutely, like the gentle stretching of a fabric warming in the sun. Every movement forward takes you billions of years into the past, until the present feels like a distant echo. A faint glow emerges ahead, a massive halo of gas surrounding an early galaxy cluster. It burns dimly with the energy released by the first generations of stars. Passing through this halo feels like drifting through warm mist, illuminated by memories of ancient thermonuclear fires. Inside the cluster, the galaxies are compact and chaotic. Violent starbursts erupt across their cores, painting the gas around them with soft purples and blues. Radiation drifts through the cluster, like slow-moving fog. Everything here feels young, yet intense, as though the universe was excitedly learning how to build galaxies for the first time. Beyond the cluster, you enter a region where matter becomes even more primitive. The gas clouds are dense, glowing faintly under the ultraviolet light of newborn stars. The structures you pass feel unfinished, as though sculpted by hands still discovering their strength. It is a cosmic nursery, and the airless space feels warm with creation. Deeper still, you find regions where the first stars once ignited, their light now stretched beyond visible wavelengths. These early giants lived quick, brilliant lives, exploding in supernovae that seeded the universe with the first heavy elements. Passing through the remnants of their ancient glow feels like touching the embers of the cosmic forge that made everything familiar. Finally, the light grows so stretched it becomes nearly invisible. You are approaching the threshold of what any telescope can ever see, the quiet boundary where time becomes opaque. The universe before this point is hidden behind a shimmering veil, unreachable by starlight. This is the last chapter light can tell you. Everything beyond it belongs to silence, heat, and the raw potential that preceded creation. As the last photons drift past you, dim and weary from their long journey, you feel a profound stillness. It is not loneliness, it is belonging. A reminder that every particle, every galaxy, every spark of brightness you have witnessed was part of a single unfolding story. And in this quiet, you understand something simple and immense. The universe is old. The universe is vast. But none of it is truly separate. Everything shines because everything is connected. You glide into a region where galaxies gather densely, shining like suspended lanterns in a vast velvet chamber. The space around you feels richer now, almost textured by the sheer amount of light pouring from every direction. It's as if the universe decided to show you what abundance looks like on a cosmic scale. Millions of galaxies layered across the dark, like strokes of luminous paint on a boundless canvas. Each one whispers a story written over billions of years. As you drift along this crowded corridor of light, the galaxies feel almost close enough to touch. Spirals unfurl like frozen whirlpools, and ellipticals glow like warm embers. Some are bright and orderly, others are twisted, scarred by collisions that carved new shapes into their glowing forms. Their variety is staggering, a reminder that even the universe never repeats itself exactly the same way twice. You move toward a galaxy larger than most, a slow-spinning giant wrapped in faint tidal arms. Its gravitational pull subtly shifts your path, like a gentle tug from a distant hand. As you pass, you notice faint streams of stars trailing from its edges, remnants of past encounters with neighboring galaxies. These delicate threads shimmer like soft silver fractures etched into the darkness. Near that giant, you encounter a tight cluster of spiral galaxies. Their arms tangle in glowing patterns, as if performing a slow, synchronized dance. Gravity choreographs their movements, guiding stars into swirling lanes that merge, twist, and reform. Watching them feels like witnessing the universe paint motion itself, using entire galaxies as its brushstrokes. Farther ahead, you drift into a quieter patch of space. The galaxies here glow faintly, softened by distance and dust. They seem older, their stars redder, their shapes rounder. You sense the passage of unimaginable time in their muted light, as though each of them has exhaled for billions of years and now rests in gentle stillness. Their glow carries a quiet wisdom, like ancient cities sleeping under twilight. You continue until an unusual shape emerges, a ring galaxy with a brilliant hollow center. Its shimmering ring pulses with young, blue stars, formed from a long-ago collision that sent waves of gas rippling outward. The galaxy looks like a cosmic ripple frozen in time, a reminder that even violent events can lead to something unexpectedly beautiful. Passing through the ring feels like flying beneath an archway carved from living light. Beyond it, you find galaxies mid-collision, two spirals locked together in a luminous embrace, their arms stretching and merging. They move slowly, yet their transformation is unstoppable. The gravitational waves passing through their cores feel like echoes you can almost sense through your skin. It's a union that will last a billion years, long enough to reshape the stars into a single, magnificent whole. As you drift on, the crowd begins to thin. Each galaxy grows more isolated, though still glowing with its own quiet rhythm. You sense the shift immediately, a softer hush settling over space, like stepping away from a bustling city into a calm, open night. The galaxies here shine more individually, each one radiating a personality shaped by time and solitude. You approach a barred spiral, its central bar glowing brightly, pushing gas and stars outward into perfectly curved arms. Its structure feels deliberate, almost architectural, as though the universe sculpted it with intentionality. Bars like this play a crucial role in feeding galactic cores and prompting new waves of star formation. You sense that every structure, no matter how strange, has its reason. Farther ahead, a dwarf galaxy flickers gently in the dark. Tiny, fragile, almost easily overlooked, yet astonishingly resilient. Dwarfs are the building blocks of the universe, the first galaxies to form and the last to fade. Their modest light reminds you that significance is not measured by size, but by presence. Even the faintest glow can hold entire histories within it. You cross paths with a galaxy undergoing rapid starburst activity, Its core burns fiercely, releasing bright, chaotic streams of radiation. Gas clouds ignite with newborn stars, turning the entire region into a glowing storm of creation. Despite the turbulence, the galaxy feels alive, as though experiencing a cosmic heartbeat accelerating with excitement. Then you drift into a region dominated by elliptical galaxies, smooth, hazy spheres glowing with soft golden light. They lack the dramatic structure of spirals, but they radiate a deep, steady calm. Their stars are old, their orbits random, giving them a quiet maturity. Being near them feels like walking through a serene desert at dusk, where heat lingers only as memory. Far away, a massive elliptical looms, larger than any you've seen so far. It holds trillions of stars, each one moving in its own direction, like dust stirred by an invisible breeze. These giants often form from multiple collisions, absorbing smaller galaxies over billions of years. Drifting past one feels like brushing against the boundary of a cosmic empire. The light fades gradually as you move deeper into this region. Dust clouds obscure portions of the galaxies, turning their glow into warm, watercolor blurs. The universe here feels dreamlike, as though you are wandering through paintings instead of cosmic structures. The beauty is softer, more interpretive, and you feel yourself relaxing into the gentler shapes. Ahead, a bright quasar suddenly pierces the shadows, an active galactic nucleus blazing with unimaginable energy. Fueled by a supermassive black hole devouring matter, the quasar shines so intensely that it outshines entire galaxies. The beams of radiation emanating from its poles stretch across millions of light years like cosmic searchlights. Passing beside it feels like approaching a lighthouse built from raw, ancient fire. You slip past the quasar, entering a quieter region once more. The galaxies here glow dimly, softened by distance and cosmic dust. Each one feels like a fading memory, lingering just long enough for you to admire before it dissolves into darkness. This gentle transition feels like the universe lowering its voice. Soon, you approach a galaxy cluster held tightly together by immense gravity. Dark matter shapes its invisible skeleton, binding hundreds of galaxies in a shared orbit. The collective glow of so many stars converging in one region feels like entering a cosmic festival, vibrant yet harmonious. It is one of the few places where the universe feels truly bustling. Leaving the cluster, you drift into a sparse region where galaxies twinkle like stars scattered across an infinite sea. Their isolation grants them a special kind of beauty, each one shining proudly, unconcerned with comparison. You feel the vastness more deeply now, the immeasurable distance stretching between each point of light. In this distance, you encounter an ancient galaxy so redshifted that its features are barely distinguishable. It existed when the universe was only a fraction of its current age. Its light has traveled across nearly the entire history of existence to meet you now. Touching that light feels like shaking hands with time itself. You drift further, and the galaxies grow younger again. Spiral arms sharpen, bright blue stars reappear, and star-forming regions glow with promise. You've crossed an invisible timeline, from ancient epochs back toward cosmic maturity. The sheer scale of these transitions leaves you breathless, as if witnessing evolution on a stage built from eternity. As more galaxies fill the horizon, you sense the universe welcoming you back from its more ancient regions. The familiar shapes return, spirals, ellipticals, irregulars, each one glowing with life. You feel their light reach toward you like gentle hands, each one offering a glimpse of its own story. Finally, you pause at the edge of a bright cluster. From here, you can see dozens of galaxies arranged like gems in a luminous mosaic. And for a moment, everything feels beautifully connected. The chaos, the structure, the solitude, the collisions, the light. You take in the sight slowly, letting it imprint itself on your thoughts. You drift, weightless, as the universe stretches infinitely in every direction. The galaxies shimmer like reflections on a dark ocean, and you feel held, truly held, by everything you've seen. The journey through millions of worlds has left you changed, quieter inside, more aware of the delicate balance that sustains everything. And as you prepare to leave this region, one thought rises gently through you, that the cosmos is vast, but never empty, because every bit of it glows with stories that wait patiently to be felt. As your long journey through the cosmos begins to settle into memory, you feel the quiet realization that every galaxy you passed, every spiral, every collision, every dim, ancient glow, was more than scenery. It was a timeline, a living record of the universe learning to shine. And now that you've wandered through millions of them, you begin to understand why the night sky feels so strangely comforting. It's not dark because it's empty, but because its stories are so far away that their whispers take billions of years to reach you. Being here tonight allowed you to hear some of those whispers more clearly. You think back to the first galaxies you drifted past, the spirals unfurling their arms like cosmic flowers, the ellipticals glowing like warm lanterns, the dwarfs flickering with quiet determination. Each one held a rhythm of its own, shaped by collisions, gravity, time, and chance. They weren't just structures, they were testimonies of survival. Even the faintest dwarf galaxy carried entire generations of stars, each one burning against unimaginable odds. Their persistence made you feel a little less fragile in the vastness of everything. As your mind moves through the middle regions of your journey, you recall the crowded clusters where galaxies gathered like families around an ancient fire. Their light overlapped, merged, and wove itself into soft golden tapestries across the void. Standing there, weightless and unhurried, you sensed something that science can measure but not fully explain. The feeling that the universe is, in its own way, communal. Galaxies orbiting each other aren't just bound by gravity. They're bound by shared history, shared collisions, shared evolution. Their togetherness, even when violent or chaotic, felt strangely reassuring. Then came the quieter regions, where the distance between galaxies stretched wide and the light dimmed to gentle murmurs. Here, your journey shifted from wonder to introspection. The solitude of space revealed how much the universe depends on emptiness to give shape to everything else. The void wasn't frightening, it was peaceful, almost sacred. In that stillness, you learned something soft but profound, that emptiness doesn't erase meaning, it highlights it. Without darkness, no galaxy could ever be seen. Without silence, no whisper could ever be heard. Near the end of your path, you encountered the ancient galaxies, red-shifted, blurred, trembling on the edge of time itself. Their light had been traveling for nearly 13 billion years just to reach you in this moment. Holding that ancient glow felt like holding the breath of the early universe. It reminded you that time is not a straight line, but a river that flows differently depending on how far you drift. And in that river, every traveler, including you, moves at the same cosmic pace, slowly, quietly, meaningfully. As you consider everything you've seen, a soft understanding settles inside you. Galaxies aren't distant worlds to observe. They're mirrors showing you how life unfolds on every scale. They grow, they collide, they break. They heal by forming new stars. They drift apart. They find new balance. Their evolution is messy, beautiful, and slow, just like ours. And the more you drifted past them, the more you realized that the universe isn't teaching us facts. It's teaching us patience. Somewhere deep inside, you feel gratitude, not just for the science or the scale or the beauty of the galaxies, but for the quiet moments they gave you tonight, for the sense of floating, for the sensation of perspective, for the relief of letting everything be as slow and vast as it truly is. There's something comforting about knowing that even the largest structures in the universe take billions of years to become themselves. It gives you permission to breathe a little easier. And now, as the light from those distant galaxies begins to fade into the familiar quiet of your own room, you realize this journey didn't end. It settled into you. The galaxies you witnessed are still glowing somewhere out there, but now they glow inside you as well, folded into your memory like constellations you can return to whenever you need calm, perspective, or wonder. That's the quiet gift astronomy offers, not answers, but companionship with the infinite. Before we part, I want to thank you, truly, for drifting through this cosmic night with me. Creating these journeys means something, but sharing them with someone who listens, imagines, and feels them, that's what brings them to life. So if this quiet flight through galaxies gave you even a moment of peace tonight, I'm grateful you spent it here. Your presence shapes this little corner of the universe more than you realize. And if you want to leave your own star in this sky before you head off to rest, I'd love to know where you're listening from tonight and what time it is where you are. Somehow, seeing those little markers from all over the world makes the universe feel even more connected, like we're all drifting together through the same quiet night. Until next time, traveler, may your thoughts be soft, your dreams be wide, and your night feel just a little larger, lit by every galaxy you carried with you from this journey.